Opening statement. Fire away.
Coach, with all the talk of 12, 16, 24, from your standpoint, given your background, how important are the James Madisons and Tulanes of the world inside college football, given the playoff format in its current state?
Yeah, I think access is nice to have when you're at that level. I do think, I've been on both sides of this now. Are there two deserving G5 or G6 teams in a 12-team playoff? I would question that. I think this league, top to bottom, is very challenging. I'm for playoff expansion. I don't have time to figure out what all that looks like. I'm too busy trying to build a roster and coach our guys. But I do think more football is good football, in my opinion. And a lot of people say, well, water it down or whatever. I'm like, I think people will still probably watch. So I got a pretty good hunch on that. But, yeah.
16 or 24, what's your preference?
I would probably say 24, but I'm not. I'll be honest. I was at the beach for a couple of days, not here, but somewhere in the state of Florida, and it's not been the main thing on my mind, honestly. I haven't really thought too much about it. I've been doing a lot of things that I let administrators deal with all that stuff and coach football.
How have the conversations been going? I know you've been talking to donors and trying to get the roster spend up, if you can. How have those conversations gone for you?
I've been good. That's probably what I've been most busy doing. When the assistant coaches were on the recruiting trail, late April and May, I took 2 days a week to go to some private dinners and influence people that care about the University of Florida to tell them thanks for what they've done, but maybe some people that could help us do some things differently. I'm never going to feel like I need to, feel sorry for ourselves at Florida. I've been at places where we've shared a weight room with several other sports the last stop, and now I've got my own weight room, so that's pretty good. I would like to have the same exact dollar amount as everybody else in the league because I think, that gives you an opportunity to be competitive year in, year out. I don't think we're necessarily last. I'm also fairly confident we're not first. And so I'd like to find a way to be on par with the top 4 teams in this league with how we're resourcing our roster. We got some work to do there.
Jon, as you've navigated this new challenge and managed the budget and such, and again, you're always comparing yourself to other teams in the league, how much would transparency of what's actually happening everywhere, like real actual raw data like that in pro leagues help?
It would be unbelievable. I mean, it's such a moving target, the ambiguity, the layers to negotiations. I'm very fortunate in Florida. We've hired Dave Caldwell. I don't do any player negotiation on a contract. I coach the team. I know what we're doing on all sides, but I do think some transparency would be very helpful because you get people bidding against each other, and it's like, what would be really cool is if we modeled ourselves more like the NFL where you got a certain number of draft picks got paid in the first round off of that amount. And so if we all had a tier where we got to pick, hey, I'm willing to spend this much on these 5 guys in this class, and then I have to go down to this level in these next 5, that would be an interesting model. I think if we did it more like the NFL draft where your pay was slotted based upon where you're drafted to some degree. But right now, we resemble more what I've always felt like is the baseball world where it's like you could be the Yankees or the Royals. You don't know what you got. Like, it's just such a wide range, and there's no real transparency involved. I mean, it's a lot of misleading information.
What's your sense of how many of your colleagues are sort of with you on playoff expansion?
Yeah, so I can only speak for what I've been told since coming to the league. When I was with the other head coaches back in February in New Orleans, which was really convenient for me at the time because my family hadn't moved yet, and it was right before Mardi Gras, which was a good time. Hearing those guys talk, they felt like going to 9 games was more than likely going to shift the playoff number. And then when we went to 9 and that didn't happen, I think some guys maybe felt, like a little misled or alienated to some degree. I wasn't here for those conversations, so I can't speak to that, but that's what I've been told from several of them that I'm friends with. And so, yeah, I do think a lot of guys would prefer it. I can't speak for the whole group as a whole, but I think the guys that have been in the league most recently, just the information I've got back from them has been they were for it.
What's the environment been like at Florida? It's a program, obviously, that's been to great heights with Spurrier and Meyer and expectations being so high, even though, as you noted, the resources don't necessarily match the expectations. Can you talk about stepping into those shoes in that arena?
Yeah, look, in this league, you're at the highest level of scrutiny, right, and the highest level of competition. I'm very comfortable with that. I feel like I'm built for that. I've never backed down to anything. I feel very fortunate to have great resources like Coach Spurrier and Coach Meyer. You know, I've spent a lot of time with both those guys. Miss Jerry has probably been like a mom to my wife since we've moved to Gainesville, and been unbelievable. And then Urban's been great to me as well. So me and my wife went down last week and spent a few hours with them on a boat hanging out. Urban's been great, man. Coach Spurrier's been great. I don't, when those two guys call, I pick up. I don't have to look very far to find great resources for what it looks like to be successful at Florida. We're far enough removed from some of that success that we have to get it started and recreate it. Some of the things that they did, I think, will still work. Some of the things I think we have to maybe recalibrate and adjust how we're doing some things at Florida because it hadn't worked the last few years.
So you played in a conference championship game all 4 of your years as a head coach. We've been asking every coach in here about the future of the SEC championship game. As somebody who played in this league and been around it, what does that game mean to you? Is that something that needs to continue? Or?
From a nostalgic standpoint, that game really, I think, means a lot. I grew up going to Legion Field, and I watched Florida play Alabama, and I watched Jack Johnson, I think, have 3 touchdowns, and I think it was 93 or 4 as a kid. So the game means a great deal. I do think it's playoff expansion. Do we move the season up? Do we try to eventually recalibrate to where we're ending closer to what the academic year looks like of January 1 like we used to, which would make a ton of sense. Football forever was truly a one-semester sport. Now we've bled into January 24th, 5th, 6th is the national championship game, which is kind of, I think, clunky, not as clean as it used to be. But conference championships matter, but I do think, does that game matter as much, with the ultimate goal being a national championship? But that's a game that's got great history and tradition. I also understand there's a ton of financial implications around that game. How do you make up for any lost revenue there? I'm going to let Commissioner Sankey and those guys deal with that. I'm trying to figure out how to win my first game at Florida right now.
What elements of your Troy and Tulane teams are going to want to carry over to Florida?
I would like to see our toughness carry over. At Troy, we were blue-collar tough. It didn't matter if it was a back alley or the biggest venue in college football. Those guys were going to come out and fight. Tulane, we were a little sexier athletically. We had some better length, and maybe kids that were drawn to the academic component at Tulane, which is unique, or the city of New Orleans. I think we still needed to be tough. We were maybe a little smarter and tougher. At Florida, if we can get the bodies we got to be tough and play with competitive edge, I think we'll have a shot. We've got a long way to go. I didn't walk in and just go, oh, yeah, we're there. We got some work to do. But those teams at Troy and Tulane, you knew every time you played them, they were gonna bring it.
You're talking about the back end of the calendar. A lot of coaches have talked about that. I mean, you lived the double duty
Yeah.
with the carousel impacting the CFP. I mean, what were the biggest pressure points as someone who experienced it, and how would you, in a perfect world, adjust some of that?
How long do we have? Golly, I was doing 2 jobs for 3 weeks, which is the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. Stupid. I having lived it, just rewinding. The Sunday after the regular season, I officially accept this job. We have a conference championship game that Friday night. We also have high school sign day that Wednesday, where I was trying to make sure we signed 16 guys at Florida and we signed 14 at Tulane with no head coach in place for the 2016. And I'm like, what is going on here? While we're still trying to win a conference championship game on Friday night. And so I do a Monday practice, which was a Tuesday, really in the game week, get on a plane, fly to Florida to do a press conference, fly right back for the next day's practice. Then we have signing day for both schools. Then I'm getting ready for a game. Then we win the game. We make the CFP. We do the selection show on Sunday. Right after the selection show, I high-five my guys, tell them can't wait to see them in a few days to start practice, and I get up back on a plane to go to Gainesville to try to see if I can keep a few of those players to play at University of Florida in 2026. I mean, full disclosure, is a shit show. I mean, I didn't sleep. people thought I was kidding around. I tweeted out something about having 2 phones and 2 hours of sleep, and I don't know, it was like 2 lives, and I don't know. I don't know if I made some good decisions in there, because it's like I was trying. The phone would ring. I'm like, all right, is this call for Florida? Is it for Tulane? Well, the two, like, yeah, it was everything, and I'm like, is it my wife telling me what to get home, what to bring home from the store on the way home, which wasn't a whole lot of stuff, but yeah, it was a mess. It was really, really hard.
So how do you fix that?
I think you could move the season up. I think you could move the end of the season up. I think we could move the high school signing date back to where it used to be, because we moved the high school signing date up. Okay, when I say used to be, I'm talking about late December, not the old February. But we moved the high school signing date to early February to protect the high school players from the portal. But then we moved the portal back. So we fixed one problem, moved the high school signing date up. And then we moved the portal back. And I'm like, it's like we're cutting off our nose to spite our face. It's like we're just overcorrecting, and we're constantly making a change, another change, another change, another change. It's like, why don't we, like, the NFL has a really cool model where they play the season, then the season ends. Then coaches take jobs. Then they do roster turnover. Then they have some practices. Then they play the season again. We're like doing all of it at once, and it's like, you don't know. I mean, I'm talking about feeling like you've been drinking. Like, golly. That's like mixing tequila, bourbon, and beer all at the same time. It's going to make you sick.
Coaches always say, control what you can control. In hindsight, should you have stepped aside at Tulane, or do you think you made the best decision?
I would have stayed at Tulane and not taken any other job. I was not going to leave a team playing for a championship to go coach another team. That's not in my DNA. I ain't built like that. Couldn't do it. I just couldn't. I'm not. That's not a shot at anybody. It honestly is not. So if Florida or any other school that wanted to offer me their head coaching job was going to tell me the terms they needed it to be on, the answer for me was, I can't take the job. Sorry. I just can't do it. Because those kids had given me just too much. And it just was, I don't know, it wouldn't have been fair. Now, I went into my team meeting at Tulane when I let them know I was leaving. And I said, hey, do y'all want me to coach in the game or no? Like, hell yeah, you're our coach. So I was like, all right, I'll coach. But if they told me no, I would have gotten out. But they all were like, yeah, we didn't come this far individually. Like, let's finish this thing.
But last one. By the same token, would you have understood it if Tulane would have said, hey, we need to get the fresh blood in here? I mean, would that have been something?
No, I would have understood that to some degree, yeah. I would have gotten it on there. But yeah, that would have made sense. I mean, I think if you're leaving a place, especially if they feel like, are you going to mess with the roster or do whatever, like, there's a lot of, I get it. That makes complete sense.
Thank you.
Good. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for being here.